Alright, so I did what I said you guys should not do. I went out and bought a graphics card. I didn't wait for things to get better. And the point was, I wanted to make a video on how you can still find good deals even today, even in this market, if you keep your eyes open and look for a good deal and act when a deal arises. And that's what I thought I did with this graphics card right here. As you can see from here, this is an Nvidia graphics card, a RTX 4070 Super, which I picked up for $540 open boxed from Micro Center, which I thought was a good price. It's not as good as I thought it was because apparently these cards were going for something like 530 in the middle of last year. But now they go for much more than what I paid for it. So it still feels like a good deal today. And I think if you need a graphics card today and that was the end of the story, it still would be a good graphics card to get because on paper, this should be an amazing graphics card. But let's get into why I am sending this back to Micro Center and why I think you shouldn't be giving Nvidia any of your hard-earned money. So for starters, when I got this card, it should have been about 2.2 times better than the card I have, the 5700 XT. And so when I grabbed it, I popped it in my system, did all the things you're supposed to do, uninstalled the drivers with EDU, did that actually twice just to make sure everything was gone. Um, Re-downloaded the games that I wanted to test out. And since this is open box, I wanted to test it out to make sure it was actually working properly so I can take it back if it was broken. And you'll find out that's kind of true, kind of not true with this card. I started running my first benchmark, which was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And for those of you who know, you know where I'm going with this. Now, Shadow of the Tomb Raider came out in 2018, and was basically marketed as one of the first ray tracing games. So of course, I want to test out ray tracing. So I launched the benchmark, I put it onto ray tracing high, I believe, and went for it, and it crashed. Okay, that happens. Let's try it again, and it crashed. All right, let me double check the driver. Have the most newest up-to-date driver. Restart the system. Check to see if there's Windows drivers. Again, restart the system. Try it again. Crash, 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 crash after crash after crash. Okay, when we put that game aside, maybe it's the card, right? This card is open box. Maybe the card is defective. Then we try different games. Open up Overwatch. And yeah, the performance, the frame rate looked really good. However, if I look at the screen, things are looking a little weird. Things are flickering. Things are, I'm getting like a black screen issue. Interesting. Okay, I keep messing with it, and the card just feels unstable. So at first I'm thinking, okay, I got a bad card, take it back, it happens. Oh well, that's what happens when you do these things, which is why if you're buying used, I like to use something like eBay or Micro Center where I know I can take it back. Okay, well, I decided to look into it. Maybe there's some fixes. Just like with the Intel graphics card that I returned, maybe there are some ways around it. Now, there were ways around it for the Intel card, but it didn't necessarily fix it and not to the level in which I liked, so I returned it because I felt that $250 was worth more than the experience I was getting from that graphics card. Well, I look into it, and for the NVIDIA graphics cards from 30 series, 40 series, and now the 50 series, their more recent drivers have broken some games, some features, and started a black screen issue. This has been going on for multiple drivers, and we're talking about NVIDIA here, who normally has a reputation of having some of the best drivers in the industry. This is not okay. They're losing the trust of gamers and losing it fast. So I'm trying to see if there's any fixes. It turns out there really isn't any fixes. It's just something you have to deal with. And some people have gotten things to work, but other people it doesn't work for them. And I'm one of those people that I know it ain't gonna work for me. I did all the things you're supposed to do, and it still wasn't a perfect experience. Well, if I thought $250 was too much to spend for an experience that was very subpar, you better bet that an almost $600 graphics card, I'm going to be sending it back if it does not give me the experience that I think is worth $600. So this is definitely going back. However, that's my experience, and that's just one graphics card. Why am I saying no one should be giving money to Nvidia? And the reason is because they don't care. Now, I know no big company cares about you or me or any person. They care about money, and they usually care about the money of their customers. So when you have a company that is motivated by our money, we can actually have an impact. We can say, we're not going to give you money for this, or we're going to give you less money for this, and we're going to wait for the price to come down before we give you money for it. And that can usually be a way that we can influence these companies. However, Nvidia, if you've been paying attention, doesn't care about gamers. They care about AI, they care about data center, and they care about enterprise. They're making so much money from those other resources. They really don't care about gamers. They're just giving us their leftover garbage so that we don't run away from them and so that they can say they are diversifying. Okay, we are the other tab now on their spreadsheet. Okay, they really don't care. On top of black screening and driver issues, they have the power connector issue, which is melting and burning cards. They have the missing ROMs issue, which they literally are selling cards that don't have all of the things that they said it should have. It's borderline false advertising. The only good thing is they seem to be replacing them, and it's affecting many graphics cards. And on top of that, they have all the driver issues. Like, what is going on here? This is Nvidia. This is a $1 trillion company. This is the company that makes AMD look small. They have more employees than all of AMD, and AMD is CPU and GPU. Okay, this is kind of crazy. You would think that they could get this fixed and get it fixed right away, but this has persisted for multiple driver releases. Do you see what I'm saying here? This is not something that was just like, oops, mistake, because mistakes happen, and they fixed it. This is behavior showing that they just don't care about us and they don't care about our money. But on top of that, the saddest part is gamers are still giving them their money, that their cards sell out. The MSRPs are basically fake. They're selling for at least $150 more than they should be, and they're selling out time and time again, showing that yeah, they'll gladly take your money for a subpar product and a subpar experience, and they have no intention of fixing that anytime soon because they don't care, because they're still getting your money because well, they're getting most of their money from somebody else, AI, data center, and so on. So until they start caring about gamers, I don't think we should be giving them our money, which is why I'm taking this card back, which is why I'm keeping my 5700 XT, even though it's from 2019 and is really showing its age for newer games at least. I'll be waiting for a card from a company that seems to actually care about my money and will do things to give me good value. Now, when it comes to Intel, they get a pass. They get a pass because they're new. If this doesn't change in the future, maybe not so much, but they have been showing that they care about gamers, they care about their customers, they listen to their customers, they try to improve the driver and improve the product. They improved their GPUs from one generation to the next, and I expect they'll continue to do that if they stick around. And so I think they get a pass. I wouldn't buy one personally, but if you want to and you're up for that, go for it. I think they're fine. AMD, surprisingly enough, seems to be the best out of the three right now with a driver that's actually stable and mature, hardware that actually delivers on performance, and a price that isn't obnoxious. Now, again, prices are hard to really say because they sell out so fast and the prices have been going up, and it's hard to find MSRP on anything. But if you can find MSRP on an AMD card, I think that could be worth it. But only the future will tell. It seems like Intel is really trying hard to break into this market. AMD seems to be taking advantage of Nvidia's weakness right now, and Nvidia just seems to not care at all. So give your money to a company that actually is fighting for it, such as AMD or even Intel. Anyways, I'm going to be taking this back this week, so if you do still want to buy one, keep an eye out for an open box 4070 Super. You might be able to get one on a good discount once I take this back, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.